Hello and welcome, this is Rooflemonger, and today we have our tips and tricks series for Gotenks. So in this video, as usual, we'll be covering the special and super moves of Gotenks. I want to be talking about a couple of properties, how a lot of his stuff works here, because he's got like the beam fake outs, the aerial forward+S, which is a pretty big deal, the old spin to win, and you know, just some general stuff on top of that. So without any further ado, let's get right to it. So now to start with the special moves, the first one we have here is Miracle Super Punch, and that's quarter circle forward on one of your attack buttons. So these versions are all air okay as well, just so you know. The light version goes straight across, and this is a hold move, by the way. If you just tap it, it's just going to do a kind of a one and done here. If you hold it, it will last a lot longer than usual. So once again, the light goes straight across. The medium is kind of a parabolic arc here, and once again, this holds true in the air as well. And the EX version is a bit of an oddball here, because here I am holding the button. If I hold forward while doing it, you move a lot faster forward, and if you hold backwards while doing it, you actually kind of slow down, as you can see here. Now, one thing to note here is the EX version specifically is positive on block. So meaning if the enemy blocks it, it is still your turn afterwards, so please keep that in mind. And this is a very important combo fodder move. To do it in neutral, maybe not so much, but it is an important combo fodder move. And one thing to note here, you are freely able to cancel at any point the Miracle Super Punch into the great special rolling kick special move, which is this guy here, spinning top. So let's go into that. So once again, these moves here are air okay, just the same as the Miracle Super Punch, and they have sort of different arcs. And the EX one is where the bread is butter on this one. You have full control over where you move on the EX version. We're going to have a lot more to say about that. It's actually going to get its own section, because there's a lot to say about this move. Now, next up we have Galactic Donut. That is this guy right here. Now, this move is effectively a capture state move, meaning that if it gets the hit in, the enemy is locked in place. Now, this is mostly useful as his assist, as this is his assist move. And they can create all sorts of crazy combos. The move does track no matter where you are on the screen. So if we are, in the air, the move will track in the air. However, the initial part of the Galactic Donut will stay in place once it begins. So if you're constantly moving, it's not going to really follow so well. It can easily prone to miss. So when you're using it for combos as the assist, please keep that in mind. Try to keep the enemy still for a split second to have it track. Its use in raw and neutral by yourself as Gotenks may be debatable. At least it's plus on block, that's something. But the startup is pretty fair here. The enemy can easily kind of just smack you out of it. They see you trying it. But, it's still a useful move, and at the very least it'll always prompt a response when you go forward. Next up we have Die Missile Barrage. That's quarter circle backwards and the special button in the air. Now this move is debatably useful, honestly. So the angle is very great, very aggressive angle to be sure. Very similar to Vegeta's similar style move. However, it has the very similar weakness of this counts as a weak projectile. So say we try something like this here. Yeah, that says it all in one statement right there. So this move is very freely able to be homing dash through. Now, as of time of this recording, there was a recent patch which changed Vegeta's barrage move, so you can reflect it on block or homing dash through it on block. Now, this move here, the Die Missile Barrage, does not have that property. It remains untouched. So, at the very least, if you make the enemy block it, they have to suffer through the whole block. They have to block every hit versus escaping, so that's something. But, other than just tossing out, and right there, that's one of the weaknesses, honestly, is if you hit with the kind of the tip of the move, they are a little bit prone to falling out early, so you gotta make sure they kind of hits a little deep on them, or else they'll just flip out just like that. Other than that, if it connects, vanish combo, that's something, you can do kind of something like that. But the move is more of a desperation move than anything. Well, desperation's, I guess, a hard word, but it's not necessarily a move you should be looking to toss out at any given time, let's put it that way. Now, next up we have the Vengeful Shout, which is his beam. Now, anyone who has the beam in this game is automatically better off for having it than not. Beams are some of the most pound-for-pound useful moves in this game, if only for the fact that you can just always vanish cancel it and get, whatever combo of you're choosing afterwards. Maybe it won't be the most damaging because it will be scaled after the vanish, but just the fact it eats up so much space. As you can see here, it is air okay as well. His beams may be slightly more narrow than some of the other beams, but still, it is a fantastic move. When you got nothing better to do, a beam is never the worst option to toss out, although don't go crazy, because a missed beam is an opportunity to get vanished, or not vanished, sorry, homing dashed on if they are at the right angle to take advantage of it, and also he can cancel it. So if you hold the button, well, instead of finishing up his beam, he's just going to kind of do his little hop and fall to the ground, same deal in the air. And we're going to talk about that in a bit more in a later section because it's good enough to get its own section. Now, let's talk about his level 1 super. Now, technically, he only has one level 1, the Super Ghost Kamikaze attack, although it comes in 2 varieties. Now, the first variety is this. So he'll spawn 5 ghosts, and they kind of attack, you know, in sequential order here, one after the other. And it is what it is. It does allow for some people who have quicker supers to get 2 supers in before the ghost will connect. This is not everyone, this is only some specific characters, just so you know. And the other version here, and this is assuming default PS4 controls, so this super will be done by R1, so this other super will be done by R2, and that is a delayed version here. So we spawn 4 ghosts, so 1 less, and if you just let them sit, they'll eventually attack on their own. And if you do allow them to sit here in place too, the enemy can totally run into them, so like that is totally a thing that can happen as well. So these are activated by not pressing a button, but by releasing a button. So right here, if I press and then hold, I punch, nothing happens. But if I let go, then he'll attack. So this corresponds to the 4 buttons, light, medium, heavy, and the key blast button here. And when you hold then release one of these buttons, that is when they will attack. So now I'm just going to hold all 4 buttons. And I let go 2, let go 1, let go the other, and they'll attack in that sequential order. So when you let go of the button is when these guys will attack. Now his level 3. So this is the Charging Ultra Volleyball. I remember in some other games I think it's the Boo Boo Volleyball. So long story short, you do it. He sends out a big old galactic donut, wraps you up, and plays some volleyball. I got Piccolo here specifically so you can see if you have Piccolo on your team, he'll actually help interact versus just Gotenks doing it solo. Now, you know, it's a level 3, gives you a true hard knockdown. One little quick thing to note. So if you do this raw and you happen to be in the air while you do it raw, because it is air okay, and that's always fantastic to have an air okay level 3, you actually get to jump before you hit the ground. Meaning you can kind of get, you know, whatever set play you can think of, doesn't really matter, just, you know, just something like this. Like, you know, I can follow up afterwards. Versus if you do on the ground, you're not allowed to jump after that little fall down period. So just keep that in mind. If you do a raw level 3 in the air and connects, so you know that's great. You are allowed to jump afterwards, meaning just get a little bit of a setup, which you know is always handy to know. So now let's talk about the beam fake out. Once again, so that's when you hold the button when you do your beam, and works just the same in the air. So there's a lot to work with here. This is one of Gotenks' best setups, for lack of a better term. So let's just talk about it in the easy stuff first. So say you do something like your corner combo. Now, if you know anything about the corner combo, if you watch, say, the companion combo guide, you know for a fact that you can't really super afterwards, so you can't do too much unless you have an assist to help you out, or you want to burn your bar on your level 3. So let's just show you an example corner combo here. So right here, we use the beam fake out. We could have beamed, you know, we don't want to beam at the end of that, but we could have beamed, we held it, and then we fell in time with the opponent. So if they wake up with normal timing, you know, not like full on delay wake up, we can do something like this. Land and just right on top of their head, and unless they down heavy right away, they gotta submit to us falling down. Now, if they're prepared for it, yeah, absolutely they can down heavy you. Don't think you are in any way, shape, or form immune to that. But if they don't, it keeps the pressure going. Especially, you know, if you don't have an assist to work with in that specific scenario to, you know, maybe land, dragon rush them, or, you know, otherwise keep your combo going. That is a really good way to keep the pressure on and just keep, you know, the Gotenks Splendor flowing. Now, besides that, one of the single most important things about the Gotenks fake out is this. So say you got whatever block string, you know, it's unfortunate they block, but what you can do here, go right for that fake out. And when you do that fake out, you are airborne, just so you know. And so right there, that would have to be an overhead block. So they would have to stand block that. They were not able to crouch block that at all. So conversely, you can just let it rock and then just go right for a low as well. And since you are airborne, and you're grounded, probably when you start this, that means you can dash. So right there as an air dash. Now, just so you know, if you do the traditional air dash of forward, it's a little tricky off that. If you know anything about the button trick where, this is assuming default controls, you hit forward and R2 in the air. That's actually a lot easier to get that dash off of than the traditional just forward. At least for me it is. Your mileage may vary for you. So the traditional mix-up here of the high-low, high or low, could technically be what we call fuzzy guarded. So they just hold back and then they hold down with timing. But the fact of the matter is when you add the dash into that changes everything. So all of a sudden, now they have more timings to worry about, meaning this gets a lot more dangerous. So if you're going to dash, or even if you're not, generally speaking, it's slightly easier to get to the the jumping light than it is the jumping medium. It's just a little less time for it to come out. And you'll give up a little bit of damage, yeah, sure, but it's much more reliable. And honestly, when you're already going for a mix-up, reliability is king to me. And so you can go for that. You can go for the forward dash into the low. You can just forego everything, no matter what, and just go for a Dragon Rush. So it's just very heavy on the mix-up here. And say you got, whatever assist to, kind of cover you while you're doing it. Some assists are better than others, to be sure. Like a Kid Buu assist will keep them locked down for a long time, versus like, old Piccolo here, it's one hit, one and done, so it's not going to be as good. But especially if you have an assist in place to just lock them down while you're going for this, meaning they can't escape, can't, vanish out, can't reversal out, or whatever have you. This is just a super strong tool. It's a super strong tool even without an assist, don't get me wrong, right? But with an assist comes all the more deadly, as even if you get the block string, this guy means every time you do this, it's time to guess high or low. And you got multiple timings here. You can go high here, low here, high dash, and like all sorts of stuff. It's just an incredibly strong part of his offensive toolbox. Now, another important part of his game plan is his aerial forward and S button. So this is your regular key blast in the air, and it's honestly nothing special. However, if you hold forward while you're doing it in the air, you'll just kind of do this little jump forward. Now, in and of itself, it doesn't look like much, but you're allowed another action afterwards. So say we're, roughly this distance here, we do it. Hey, we just got a second attack in, right? So you can kind of think of this and say maybe like a Street Fighter terminology as like kind of like a dive kick. So if you're close enough, you can kind of just go in and get a follow-up. So his longest range jumping normal here is jumping medium, and it's not a very long range. So you do gotta watch where you are relative to your spacing. But say you can like backdash and come back in, like that kind of stuff. This can be very tricky stuff here. So say you get your homing dash blocked, boom. So they might go for down heavy, they completely miss, and then you're already back in their face. So, and once again, this is kind of small normals, so after that that jumping medium, just do a quick dash forward and do a stand jab just to stay in place, otherwise you might wind up a little bit short. And that's not a short joke, even though it sounds like it, even though it should be, because he is short. But yeah, so it has some really good neutral applications. This is just, lets him toss in that key blast here, where he is immune from being down heavy, because he can't be down heavy yet because he's just too far away. That key blast will smack him in the face. And then from there, just get a kick follow-up and go from there. Now, there's more to it than just that, because there's also combo applications. So if you want to use your forward and S in a combo here, the one thing you got to change differently, so you can start your combo the usual way, but you have to super jump afterwards. Not a regular jump, you have to super jump, so down and up to get more height. So, just an example combo right here. So, something like that. So, once again here, after the stand M there, I am super jumping, not regular jumping. In that specific scenario, I was doing jab, and all three hits connect, then forward and S, then jab, jab, and then the down heavy. So, there's a lot of permutations of this. So, another version is you can delay the crouch M and stand M, and then super jump, then you get a medium, then forward S, and then into the hit, just for a slightly more damage. And there's some character specific variants, of which I'm sorry I'm not familiar with all of them. But yeah, there's quite a bit out there, and it lets you just, at the very least, I guess you get an extra hit in, an extra tick a meter. But, and some combos will let you get a little more damage. Some, despite looking fancier, actually do less damage overall. So it's up to you. I myself, I'm not a master of these particular combos, I'm very sorry to say. But that's just an example. But with the one universal fact, once again, if you want your forward and S in the combo is you have to super jump instead of regular jump while you're doing the combo. Now for the EX spinning top move here, the old spin the wind. So once again here, you got full control over it, kind of do whatever you want, and it's just got a lot of things to talk about. So here, first up here, let's talk about a pretty simple, pretty gimmicky one. But say if the enemy's blocking, and once again, since we have full control over what we're doing here, we can just kind of go over sides and just cross up, and it is a true cross up. So if you do this correctly, they do have to block the other side, just so you know. Now, this is not infallible, and you can also do same side, just so you know, if that's what they're anticipating. They are able to down heavy it once they are free of it, so you can kind of just bait it out, maybe move away, call an assist to catch the down heavy. It is an option here, but make sure the enemy, you know, can respect it first before they can even down heavy to begin with, because if they're not aware enough to, you know, down heavy to begin with, then, you know, go crazy. It'll catch everyone probably at least once, honestly. It's very gimmicky, but gimmicks aren't a bad thing, because gimmicks are gimmicks because they work every now and then, right? So if you can catch the enemy, that's all the better for you. Now, one thing about this move too is, this move is technically advantage on block. Now, if you watched the recent video I did about advantage on block moves, I did everything via the jump test. So do the move, and then both people jump at the same time, that's how I determine it. By this method, the spinning top here, the X spinning top, and this is the grounded version, the aerial version is not advantage on block, just so you know. But the grounded version is not plus on block by that standard. However, what makes it actually plus on block is this. So as long as you're grounded here, Gotenks actually recovers in the air, meaning he can actually move while he's airborne, and he can get a jumping, jab, or medium, but jab is definitely the one you want to go to. I don't want to get too strict on the timing. So that jab will beat out anything the opponent will do, including a down heavy, because the down heavy is not invincible against air attacks immediately, and it'll catch shit in that brief, small window where the down heavy is not invincible against air attacks. They can still reflect it, they can reversal through it, all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, if you do this here, it is fairly safe for the most part just to toss out the jab and see what happens. And then you can make it a mix-up too, because, you know, you can not jab, then go for crouching light, you know, anything to make your opponent scared to block, because then at that point, like, if they gotta guess 50-50, then you just land Dragon Rush 2, that kind of stuff. This is an incredibly powerful move. Now, this is once again the grounded version. If you do start the move in the air, it is not going to be quite the same, as you will not have that brief bit of advantage. This is only applying to the ground version. But yeah, keep it in mind, it's a very good, very abusable move, and at the very least, if you don't know what you're doing, say you got a block string going on and you're just frustrated, just toss it in there, and at the very least, yo, it's your turn kind of forever, as long as you want to keep burning bars until they can get out of the blender. Now, will they be able to get a blender? Yeah, there's a lot of options. So once again, deflect basically gets rid of it for free. It'll just toss you all the way back, and, you know, you basically accomplish nothing. But that's when you can just empty land, go for a Dragon Rush, that kind of stuff. Just the advantage is in your side once they block it, so make the most of it. Now, as for his generalized game plan, I'll tell you right now, Gotenks is not a master of the buttons. Now, some of these tips and tricks videos, I have video sections dedicated to the character's normal attacks. Gotenks, not so much, because his buttons are stubby as all get out. The only one has any real range at all, not even crouch medium here, as the range is very deceptive. It's not go as far as it looks like. It is a stand heavy, and you can charge it for slightly more range than normal, because it'll whiff from there, but it'll connect from here. And this move here, if you do fully charge it, is plus on block. Gotenks has a lot of plus on block stuff, just so you know. And while we're on the plus on block train, actually, in the corner only, the medium version of Miracle Punch here, if the enemy blocks the part where you come downwards, you will be able to be advantage on block afterwards. Gotenks will recover ever so slightly before then. Now, the one gap here is the fact, you know, as you see here, it goes on big old parabolic arc. And for the most part, they're going to be crouch blocking too, not stand blocking, so they can very easily down heavy you. This is not a difficult thing for them to do at all, really. So be careful with this in mind. But if you get them block the whole thing here, you can steal an extra turn here and be advantage on block in their face. Now, besides that, yeah, he's got the beam. The beam's very good. It's just a neutral, like, period, like, let alone the whole fake out stuff we have, you know, covered in its own section. But, you know, besides that, Gotenks mostly wants to get in by getting in. He does have the forward+S, which helps things quite a bit in that regard. It is a very valuable tool to be sure, but once again, since it's a basic key blast, it can be easily homing dash through, and you know, people love their homing dash in this game, so you are leaving yourself open in that regard if you're going for it. But yeah, due to the lack of his button length, you just gotta kind of fling yourself at him. Now, he has the advantage of being a very small character. For me, frustratingly so, because a lot of the characters I play have certain combos that just don't work on Gotenks. So in that aspect, you can think Gotenks kind of has, against certain characters, slightly above average health. Now, everyone does have the same health, but like for me, Android 16, my most damaging Android 16 combo does not work on Gotenks. Gotenks will fall out of the combo. And just to give you an example there, so I have to do a less damaging combo against Gotenks. So that is a small feather in his cap. He might have those stubby buttons, but the fact that he's so small, he's more prone just to fall out of stuff if your timing is not perfect. You know, he can more easily avoid stuff on the screen, you know, like all sorts of crazy fireballs, just by the fact that his stature is small. So his resting hurt box is just, you know, there's less of it there than, say, even, you know, a slightly bigger character like Goku or something. It's just harder for him to get hit. Now, with that part said, so once again, the general game plan is kind of just working together all the other stuff we talked about here. You know, the beam fake outs, the air forward+S, the abusing the EX spin, that kind of stuff. If you watched the previous combo video, you know the EX kamikaze is a very important deal to be sure. And I'll show you one example, because I did talk about how some characters, not all, but some characters that have quicker special, or super moves that is, can get a follow-up, so I'll just show you one quick example right now. So for this example, we're going to use Vegeta because the Big Bang attack is a very quick move and it recovers very fast afterwards. So we'll just do a very basic combo here, just, you know, for the sake of time. Call him Vegeta. He's already going to recover before the ghosts go away. And we're going to go right in the final flash and it's going to connect. So that's just one, you know, more extreme example here. You know, you can homing dash afterwards, you know, just jump jab or something, even like just an uppercut. Just to show you that the people who have faster supers can get a little bit extra out of it. Now, once again, this is not going to be everyone. This is only applying to people with very quick supers, as the ghosts don't hold people in place too long. You know, obviously longer than usual, but not too long. So there you have it. Now, Gotenks, he's definitely an oddball compared to the rest of the cast. He's very tiny, which in this game, honestly, for the most part, is a good thing. Although he does have tiny normal, so that, you know, not as ideal. He's basically got the most plus on block moves in the game, like full charge heavy is plus, medium punches in the corner is plus, EX punches anywhere is plus, spin top is plus on the ground. It's just so many things. So as long as you're willing to burn a bar, it's always Gotenks' turn. Eventually people are going to have to do something like a reflect or an invisible move to get him off him, and that's where you can hopefully start baiting stuff out. GC's a true little dynamo, little blender. Gotenks is, you know, just always in your face, and he has a lot of ways to get in your face, like, you know, just the forward+S in the air is very good, because then you can hack and follow up afterwards. You can even spin top and just like kind of glide in the air if you have no idea how to approach, or you just want to do, like, you know, the old homing dash or run forward. He's truly a very unique character in a game with a lot of unique characters, so he's quite fun. The one thing, on the whole, his damage I would say is lower than average solo. With assists and all that, you know, we can change a lot of that kind of stuff, but solo his damage isn't fantastic. But the fact that he's got so many tricks, so many plus on block moves, so many gimmicks, so many can opener stuff, high-low kind of stuff, yeah, his damage is low, but he'll get way more opportunities than the average character to create damage, and that more than makes up for it in my opinion. Anyways, that concludes this guide, so thank you very much for watching. I hope this video found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.